Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We have quite a startling piece of news, quite a revelation, in fact. Given how much allegedly Fergus Ewing loves the SNP and does so as a tribute to his mother, it is somewhat surprising then that he has come out and is fully backing Michael Matheson. He says he will not be voting against him in a vote of no confidence, and he even quoted scripture to back up his claim. This could be an astonishing thing, because if it is as bad as we think about Michael Matheson, you're going to have an awful lot of people backing a man who may yet cause more damage to the party by remaining than if he'd resigned. It is an astonishing thing that even Fergus Ewing is backing a man who may have the most awful stuff on his iPad, which is why he's refusing to hand it over. What are they going to do if it turns out to be true? They're all sitting there backing him to the point they're even quoting the Bible as justification of keeping Michael Matheson, a liar and a thief, in power. We'll have a look at this and then we'll just question the sanity of these people. Here goes. Now, I must say that on a personal basis, I quite like Fergus Ewing. He's sort of he's a nice guy, I suppose. He's a hard-working, he's a decent human being. But I think he's definitely taking the wrong side on this one. And you have to question his judgment now. His judgment to back Michael Matheson without knowing the full facts, rather than keeping his distance and saying, well, of course I'll offer him, all the best I can, but I think he must go, like some of them are saying, is very, very weird. But we're going to look here. Michael Matheson. Fergus Ewing quotes the Bible as he becomes the latest SNP figure to back the health minister. And yet here's the thing. The health minister is provably a liar, is probably a thief, is questionably and possibly someone with the most degenerate filth on his iPad, a man who is completely screwing up as health minister, and yet they're all rushing to his defence. I think, Fergus Ewing, I expected better of you. To rush to the defence of a man like this, a man who has no loyalty to his family, whose only loyalty is to his own job, a man who would throw his family under the bus to maintain his grip on power, and yet that grip on power is done at such an expense to the people of Scotland by showing people what an awful health secretary is, and you're about to go into probably the worst time Scotland's NHS has ever had, with an absolute failure at the helm, a man who can't even concentrate on his job because he's so worried about everything that's going around him, and Fergus Ewing backs him. Is Fergus Ewing deliberately trying to destroy the SNP? Because I think that is what's going to happen over this whole Michael Matheson affair. And for him to quote the Bible as a justification for keeping him seems very, very odd. But we'll take a look. The SNP leader, Humza Yousaf, is said to be losing patience with his cabinet colleague. But the renegade Highland MSP won't be backing any vote of no confidence. By here, he says he doesn't want to get rid of him. Why does he think it's going to protect the party? Does he think it's going to do the party any good? It's a stunning revelation, really. Anyway, getting into the body here. Fergus Ewing has become the latest SNP figure to back Michael Matheson, even quoting the Bible to justify keeping him in government. The health secretary is still clinging to his job after scandal erupted over an £11,000 fraudulent claim for his iPad bill that he racked up on holiday and then lied about repeatedly and differently, and changed his lies and then lied about the lies he'd previously told, and then threw his family under the bus because he doesn't care about them, he only cares about his job. Matheson initially insisted the parliamentary iPad had been used for constituency work and kept to that story even after he discovered his children had been using it to watch football. It then claimed he had no interest in football, and then we saw the lies that was when we saw the Twitter message asking how he could watch the Celtic game and then turning up at all the Celtic matches, and then how he lied about the initial, and then he lied about the lie, And then, knowingly that they're being told the children had done it, he lied again, and so forth. And at the same time, has refused repeatedly to let the iPad go over for independent inspection because, as we suspect, there's things on there that he knows he must never, ever have come out because he doesn't know if he's got rid of them, if the metadata's there, if the website data's there, of him looking at some perhaps awful things. We do not know. But the suspicion is always going to be there that this is the kind of thing this guy's looking at because he will not hand over his iPad for inspection. That in itself should be enough for him to resign. And that's before you take in everything else. Critics have accused him of lying to the country, and the Scottish Conservatives could still force a vote of no confidence in him. But any hopes of a renegade now MSP Mr Ewing would join them have been dashed, as he revealed he was close to Mr Matheson. You have to wonder how close. The Highland MSP previously backed the Tories in a confidence vote against Lorna Slater, but asked about Mr Matheson's position, BBC Scotland's Good Morning Scotland show on Tuesday, he said, well, I'm a friend of Michael Matheson. Tuesday? It's got to be today. It's Monday today. It's got to be Monday. They've put that in. He said, I'm a friend of Michael Matheson. We actually did the Caledonia Challenge together about 20 years ago. He said, I would say, as it says in the good book, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and that person certainly won't be me. Can I also point out, Mr Ewing, that the Bible also says, thou shalt not steal. And I'm pretty sure watching videos of very, very young people is potentially also a very great crime. So if you want to start quoting scripture, you might as well quote it all. Let's not just quote the nice bits that you think will help. Thou shalt not steal is definitely one of them. And bearing false witness, how does that fit in your mythology? Because he's certainly lied, and it looks like he's put a fraudulent claim in. So how does that sit with that good book you quote? Seems very weird. It comes after another difficult weekend for the Falkirk West MP. Reports emerge that cast into doubt his claims he has no interest in either Rangers or Celtic. As I pointed out, he was questioning people on how to see the game, and has also turned up at their matches quite a lot. Anyway, the Sunday Herald suggested he would be sacked if any more holes in his story appeared, and sources told the paper that Mr Yousaf has only refused to sack him because he sympathises with him as a father. Well, what kind of father throws his children under the bus? A father would stand there and protect his children, not use them as human shields. You expect someone like Hamza Yousaf to use them as human shields. We've seen that all the time, how certain group always uses children as a human shield, whereas other groups tend to protect children. It's a weird way of doing it, but that's the way different groups operate, isn't it? Anyway, Mr Matheson also faces a parliamentary code investigation into his conduct. The bill was initially to be picked up by the taxpayer before Matheson said he'd pay it for himself in case anyone wanted to look at the contents of his iPad. Also, having been found out, he didn't want to appear like a liar and a thief. Far too late for that, Michael. You definitely are a liar and you definitely look like a thief. At the very least, never to mention what is possibly on your iPad and all that potential degeneracy. Just days after insisting the iPad had not been used for personal reasons, Matheson admitted it wasn't the case, and it was. So, you can't help himself. Lies, lies, lies. We did one over the weekend. More lies coming out. He told MSPs he'd kept quiet to protect his family, which sounds like bullshit to me, throwing children under the bus. He said, disclosing information about my family has been extremely difficult, but not so difficult that you resisted the urge, eh? It was difficult, but you still did it. Very bravely. Very bravely. I mean, honestly, complete utter wanker, aren't you? He says, mistakes have been made by me and by my family. No. Your family didn't make a single mistake, Michael. You made the mistake. You brought a government device to a foreign country defined as dangerous. You allowed children access to your device that is government property and will have confidential information on it. Not your children's fault. Don't be blaming your family. See, he's doing it again. He's passing the buck. Oh, it's my family have made mistakes. My family have made mistakes. You made mistakes. Stand up for your own mistakes, you snivelling little wretch. Honestly, you are like the scrapings of underpants. You really are. He said, I should have sorted the SIM card and I should have investigated what happened more thoroughly. Well, you should shouldn't have tried to fraudulently claim £11,000 from the public purse and then lie about it repeatedly and then blame your family, you piece of filth. Now hand the iPad over, let's have it inspected, and let's see what you've really been watching. But he won't do that. But if it ever does come out, then all these people who are sitting there, like Humza Yousaf, like Fergus Ewing, like them all, and backing this man, may yet live to rue the day. And coming up, all these people tying themselves to Michael Matheson's mast, so to speak. If he goes down, they go down. If they are saying and backing him and pushing him, and then it turns out that what we think is on that iPad is on that iPad, they are all tarred with the same brush. They are all showing complete and utter support for a man like that. The potential Jimmy Savile of the SNP. Who knows? I'm not saying he is. But you don't know, do you? And you will only know if he hands his iPad over for a full inspection, just to prove that he hasn't been looking at that. After all, he now claims that it was only football. And if that's the case and the story's out, he has nothing to fear. And if he's got nothing to fear, then he's got nothing to hide. And so you have to ask, why is he still hiding it? There's only one reason. And we all know what it is. I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and keep watching this story. This story isn't over by a long mark, but we want to see how many people are willing to back a man who may potentially be very, very degenerate. Maybe. Till next time, goodbye. I'll speak to you soon.